Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm taking you along on one of my favorite hikes in the White Mountains, Mount Moosilauke, located in New Hampshire. Known for its stunning 360-degree views, alpine zones, and challenging but rewarding trails, Moosilauke is a must-do for any avid hiker or nature lover. Before we dive into the hike, here's a quick rundown of Mount Moosilauke. Standing at 4,802 feet, it's one of the highest peaks in the White Mountains and also part of the Appalachian Trail. The name Moosilauke is derived from the Abenaki language and means bald place, referring to its bare summit. And trust me, once you get to the top, you'll see why. The views from up there are absolutely breathtaking. We're taking a scenic loop today, starting with Snapper Trail. We'll reach the South Peak first for a lunch break with some amazing views, then head up to the main summit via Carriage Road before coming down Gorge Brook Trail. This route gives you a great variety of terrain without being as steep as some other options like Beaver Brook. Total, it's about a 7.5-mile loop with some decent elevation gain, so it's a solid day hike. Let's hit the trail and check it out. Before we get too deep into the hike, let's talk about what to bring. Mount Moosilauke can be a bit of a challenge, so preparation is key. Here's my go-to checklist. 1. Hiking boots. The trails are rocky and root-filled in places. 2. Plenty of water. Hydration is super important, especially on longer hikes like this. 3. Snacks or lunch. We're planning to stop at the South Peak for lunch, so pack something good. 4. Layers. Even in summer, the summit can be windy and chilly. 5. Trekking poles, useful for both the climb and the descent. 6. Map or GPS, always good to have, even though the trails are well marked. Snapper Trail is a great way to start the hike. It's not too steep and it winds through some beautiful forested areas. It's a steady ascent, but nothing too intense right off the bat, so it's a great way to warm up before the real climb. After a steady climb, we've hit the junction where we're going to take a detour to the South Peak. It's about a half-mile side trail, and trust me, the view from the top is worth the extra effort.
Hello.
Here we are at South Peak, and this is the perfect spot to stop for lunch. From here, you can see across the valleys and ridge lines. It's a quieter, less crowded spot compared to the main summit, and it's a great place to take a break and soak in the scenery. This is one of my favorite parts of the hike, the chance to relax, refuel, and take in the view before tackling the final ascent to Moosilauke. After a nice break at South Peak, we're back on the trail, and now we're tackling Carriage Road. This trail is wide and relatively gradual compared to some of the steeper trails around Mount Moosilauke, which makes for a smooth climb up to the summit. Carriage Road was originally a route for horse-drawn carriages back in the day, which is why it's wider and more level. As you hike, the views really start to open up. You can catch glimpses of the ridges all around, and you start to feel the alpine air. The anticipation builds as we get closer to the summit. And here we are, the summit of Mount Moosilauke. The feeling of reaching the top after a good hike like this is unbeatable. On a clear day, you can see the Presidential Range to the northeast, and even parts of Vermont to the west. It's just an absolutely breathtaking view. The open, grassy summit gives you that sense of freedom and accomplishment. Whether you're here for the exercise or just to take in the views, it's definitely one of New Hampshire's best hikes. Now that we've soaked in the views, it's time to head back down. We're taking Gorge Brook Trail for the descent, which is one of the more popular trails on Mount Moosilauke. It's well maintained and offers some beautiful scenery on the way down, including sections that follow the brook. It's a bit easier on the knees than some of the steeper trails, but watch your footing as the rocks can get slippery. This part of the trail is one of my favorites because you can hear the sound of the water as you descend, and the trail is surrounded by lush forest. It's a peaceful way to end the hike. Well, that's the loop. Snapper Trail to South Peak, up Carriage Road to Moosilauke's summit, and down Gorge Brook. It's about a 7.5-mile hike that takes you through some of the best scenery the White Mountains have to offer. Thanks so much for joining me on this adventure. If you're planning to hike Moosilauke, I highly recommend this loop. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more hiking content, and drop a comment if you've done this trail before or have any other White Mountain hikes to suggest. Until next time, happy hiking.